Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Yui here. And today I just want to tell people as to how to play the game of Elden Ring. There are a lot of people going around beating the game and claiming that they beat the game, even though they're using things like spells, dodging, leveling vigor. These are all very underhanded tactics that I just do not recommend because it doesn't really capture the essence of the game itself, and it's not really the correct way to beat the game. A lot of people are out here just summoning and then claiming they beat the game just because they got a trophy that says that they beat the game. It's not about that. It's about the opinions of people you haven't met before telling you that if you beat the game or not. And I'm one of those people that are here to tell you if you're doing it correctly. And I'm going to here showcase how to beat the game and play the game of Elden Ring correctly. So obviously this is going to be a build video. This is going to be an end game build. Obviously we're going to be at level 20, which is the correct end game level you want to be at. It is a little bit high compared to the other games, but being that this one is a larger game and a longer game, level 20 is really nice. Obviously you don't want to get anything past level 20 because you would then notice that you'll start to benefit off the stats, and we don't want that. But getting right into the levels themselves, or the stats themselves, Vigor, we don't want to level that one up at all because dodging is extremely broken in this game. Why would you need to level up Vigor? As for Mind, we're not going to benefit off this stat. We're not going to be using any spells, not going to be using any Ashes of War, so there's literally no point of leveling up this stat, so I'll put 6 points into it. As for Endurance, for this build, I kind of want it to be very relatable to myself. So obviously Endurance meaning stamina. How long do I last? 3 minutes. I put 3 points into Endurance. Strength, leave it at 10 because you don't want to put more points into it because it means more damage, and more damage is very cheesy, so we kind of just don't want that. As for Dexterity, I wish I could put this stat at 0. And honestly, I tried. I put on Cheat Engine and made my Dexterity stat 0. But then I got a ban warning. I'm not sure what that was about. I'm not sure what From Software is trying to say. Maybe like to tell us to live with our demons, so to speak. So for that reason, Elden Ring is kind of the hardest game because we're forced to have to put levels into Dexterity, which is kind of disgusting. But it's okay. We try to manage. We try to manage. As for the Intelligence stat, once again, make it relatable to real life. I feel like I did put a lot of thought behind this build, so put 5 points into Intelligence. As for Faith, back in high school, there was this girl I had a crush on named Faith, and I still remember the day she pushed me down the stairs and everybody laughed. Best day of my life, put 5 points into Faith. Going over the weapons themselves, here we have the Battle Axe. As the name suggests, this weapon is good for battle. But the battle we're going to partake in is not the physical battle, but more of the mental battle. So the mental battle being all of the distractions we'll find along the way through our journey, and the distractions being all of the women that get thrown at you. So women like the Melina or Rani, they'll just be in your way, trying to distract you from your main goal. And your main goal is conquering the lands between. We don't want to conquer the lands between Rani's thighs. That's a distraction, Tarnished. Focus on their true goal. You're also going to notice that I do not have the Battle Axe upgraded nor infused. You're going to see a lot of people claiming that they beat the game, even though they have like a plus 25 weapon, and then say, oh, I never co-opted, I never summoned. You literally co-opt with the blacksmith and use the blacksmith along your journey to help level up your weapon. So leveling up your weapon is technically a form of co-op, so definitely don't use something like that. As for infusing the weapon, infusing is definitely catered towards the casuals, so they created it to make it more inclusive for everybody, so everyone can enjoy it. All different types of people, all different builds can just enjoy using infusions, and everyone will benefit off it. So this type of playstyle is very powerful, very inclusive, and very convenient, and these are all leftist ideologies, so we're just not going to implement them. As for our shield of choice, we have the Red Thorn Round Shield. This one sounds really cool and is extremely weak, so it's a really good option for our build. I do think it's really overpowered that you can just click one button and then switch between both your weapon and your shield. So to counteract this, I have another weapon as an obstacle, so I have to click an extra button to get to the weapon that I want. I just feel like it's more balanced this way. As for the weapon of choice, we're going to have the Giant Crusher. This one is going to be the heaviest weapon in the game, so I just feel like the punishment I inflict upon myself just makes this a little bit more balanced. This exploit a little bit more balanced. What you are going to notice as well is that I do not have the requirement for my weapon. And this is something that I feel like is definitely relatable to real life as well. There's going to be a lot of people out there that tell you what you can and can't do. Oh, you can't get this job because you don't have the qualifications. Oh, you can't drink because you're not of age. You can't snort cocaine. These are the type of things that people will be telling you along your journey as well. Like, I don't want this game to be another thing that's going to tell me, oh, you can't use this weapon because you don't have the requirements. It's not about that. I'm here to shift the culture. I'm here to make my own brand something that I can just do what I want whenever I feel like it. And I feel like if I put my mind to it, I can make this work. I don't care about the requirements. I'm going to build it anyway, and I'm going to succeed. And that's just the type of mentality that I'm just trying to build. Again, going back to the mentality thing, the mental battle, this is why we have the battle axe. Not because it's a good weapon, because it's an axe that sucks, but the battle is what we need. Moving on. As for our armor, obviously we want to have armor that's of more weight so we can be over encumbered. So we want to be overloaded so we don't have the option to roll nor sprint, because these are very overpowered things. But you're going to notice, being that I do have heavier armor on, I am going to get some decent damage negation. And to counteract this exploit, we're going to actually use this talisman here. And this talisman makes us take increased damage, which is really, really nice for this playstyle, because being able to tank attacks is pretty much cheating. So we just don't want that. When you see our damage negation, you'll notice I have at least -50 in each stat, which is pretty much what you want. You'll notice that even the most obscure of enemies will be one-shotting you, which is very realistic, because in real life, will you ever tank a dagger to the throat? Probably not. So why would you want to win a game? Doesn't really make any sense. As for our quick items, you're going to notice I don't have anything equipped, because being able to use an item on demand is pretty broken, so we don't really utilize this at all. You notice that a lot of content creators will be using their Crimson Flask and Heal on demand, and this is honestly disgusting. They're really only doing this to push the agenda that's fueled by the Golden Order to convince more people to use this substance to inject into their bodies, even though we don't know anything about it. It's more of that sheep mentality, and then trying to control us to make us believe that this drink is beneficial for us, even though there's no scientific evidence nor official documentation stating that this is something that's beneficial for us. We just have to trust them that they're actually helping us. And honestly, when was the last time that the Golden Order actually helped us? People always talk about, oh, well, this helps save lives. So what about the long-term effects? Nobody ever seems to think about that. Everyone always wants to think about the now and how it's going to help us now. What about 10 years from now? How is it going to affect us? People just don't know. We're just trying to live in this fear that's created by the Golden Order. And honestly, the sheep are just living into it. I don't understand. So I'm here to just really showcase how we can help combat this. And I'm just bringing awareness towards this, because it's really not something to help us, but more something to take away our freedoms. But anyway, getting right into how to use this build effectively. So obviously we want to be using a mouse and keyboard. There's no other way to play this game. We only want to be using the W key, because retreating backwards and being passive is basically cheating. So we just don't want that. So I just suggest disabling your S key and just always holding W. It's definitely the correct way to play the game. Obviously for the attacks, we only want to be using the light attack once every 3 seconds, because using it any more than that is pretty much spam, and that's something that you just don't really want to use, because that pretty much discredits your entire build, and you pretty much just have to start again because you actually used underhanded tactics to beat the game. But as you can see, we're obviously going to fight Millennia, and with this build, it's going to be an absolute piece of cake. Dodging against her is going to be extremely easy. There's really nothing that she can do against this build, so we're really just going to